Before we get into today's topic, if you enjoyed the video, please hit like and subscribe, it helps the channel out. We are now less than a month out from the next generation Xbox consoles from releasing, and it's an exciting time to be an Xbox gamer, and well, we've got some stuff to talk about. Alright everyone, so I've been missing for a bit, but I'm back, and we're going to get back into the regular Xbox stuff, and today we're going to be talking about features, because these next generation Xbox consoles are feature packed, more than ever before. Going into this current generation, we had to look forward to prettier graphics and, slightly reduced load times. But it's a completely different situation this time around. Because with next generation, so many different possibilities open up. And that's what makes it so exciting. Because me as a gamer, I see everything that's coming and I couldn't be more excited. So let's get into it. Ray tracing. Now, ray tracing has been confirmed for a lot of games, such as the space combat game Chorus and the open world game Watch Dogs Legion. Now, if you don't know, ray tracing is a rendering technique that generates an image by tracing the path of light rays into a plane, simulating the effects it encounters against virtual objects. So, you're getting realistic looking lighting in video games, something of which people thought wasn't even going to be possible. Even for high-end graphics cards for years, it was impossible. Now we can have this technology in home consoles. It's going to be amazing for things like the medium, with horror games, with super dark areas, and really, this is the technique that will really help horror games going forward. Now, ray tracing isn't just coming to new games. Oh no, it's coming to things like The Witcher 3. Now, if you played The Witcher 3, that game has a lot of high contrast colours, a lot of dark areas, a lot of areas where it's oversaturated in oranges and blues. And again, this update will be free. And this is a type of feature that, added into older games, will actually make them look even newer. Because unlike increasing an image's resolution, this actually makes an image look better and more realistic. So The Witcher 3 now may look really good in 4K, and it really does, but when ray tracing is added, it takes it up to another level. And that's exciting because it's going to give a breath of life into a lot of older games that get these next generation ray tracing updates. And again, this is coming to a lot of games. These consoles are very capable of real-time ray tracing, which is exciting because, again, this technology has only been privy to things like Pixar and DreamWorks movies in the past. Now, ray tracing is coming to a lot of games, things like Witcher, Maneater, the open world shark game, which is actually quite funny. But a lot of these games right now that simulate ray tracing and light rays, even when you go underneath water, it looks impressive. Like, again, ray tracing is going to be the factor next generation. What makes games look different and look multiple levels better than what we already have now. Because we have good looking games now, but next generation, ray tracing is going to take it to another level. And unlike HDR, you do not need another new display for this type of technology. Now, Halo Infinite. This will also be getting ray tracing down the line. But another big benefit to things like Dirt 5 and Halo Infinite is 120 frames per second. So if you have a HDMI 2.1 monitor or TV, you will be able to get up to 4K 120 frames per second. So multiplayer in Halo Infinite will run butter smooth 120 frames. If you do not have a 2.1 display, you'll still get 120 frames, just capped at 1440p. But again, games like Dirt 5 run butter smooth at this resolution. And look, when it comes to resolutions, frame rates has always been a key factor when it comes to a talking point, because again, 60 frames per second hasn't been achieved a lot this generation. But with next generation, we're getting up to 120 frames per second. And that's actually really impressive. Next up, backwards compatibility features. So when it comes to next generation, many games will not be patched by their developers. But as Digital Foundry and other people have tested that games unpatched with uncapped frame rates going up to 60 frames per second, even games going as far back as GTA 4 will go up to 60 frames per second. Now, this is actually really impressive that this hardware can brute force 60 frames in games where there is no cap. Games with dynamic resolution will go up to its full resolution. So games that have dynamic 4K, it'll cap at 4K, which is good because, again, this hardware is very capable of holding 4K at 60 frames on many different titles. And the thing is, when it comes to all these unpatched games, going back to them is going to feel a lot more easier to get into, because a lot of games this generation have suffered from frame rate issues and resolutions dipping too low during combat and fast scenes. And frankly, that's a big deal to a lot of people because frame rates are key. A lot of games this generation where there is no cap, the frame rate is all over the place. Next generation, on Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S, the resolution will stable out. And that's unpatched. And that's really impressive. Now, when it comes to these games next generation that we will see sequels from, we will see things like ray tracing added to games like Jedi Fallen Order, the upcoming From Software titles, games that really benefit from realistic lighting and higher frame rates. It all comes together really. And when it comes to the whole backwards compatibility thing, we have to talk about machine learning. So, the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S is capable of adding HDR to games that don't even have it. So again, GTA 4 can have HDR running at 60 frames. So they're doing this by some kind of direct machine learning technique. Now the thing about machine learning is that it can help out in more ways than just HDR. We haven't been told everything yet about machine learning, but it can increase image resolution, image detail, texture resolution. So when it goes back to these 360 backwards compatible games, in the future we could potentially see games get increased texture detail without any input by the developers themselves. And to me, that's going to be one of the biggest features, because already the backwards compatibility team have done wonders with a lot of these games. So, Splinter Cell, Red Dead Redemption, a bunch of Valve games. A lot of games run at 4K or close to 4K now, and they look crisp. But next generation, with that technology and direct machine learning, they could have games looking even better. And with the huge library going back 3 generations, OG Xbox, Xbox 360 and Xbox One, they could do that. Next up, quick resume. Now I've seen a lot of people recently say that what's the point in quick resume? Because who goes in between that many games? Well, the thing is that even if you turn the console off, quick resume works. So games like Final Fantasy that have a 12-second load time now, if you're using quick resume, you're going to be dropping that load time to around 5 seconds. So it's all about less time loading, more time playing. And at the end of the day, isn't that what's more important? And for me, again, one of the biggest features, I jump between games a lot, and I'm really looking forward to this feature. And yeah, it's good stuff going to next generation. And that's it for today. I just wanted to talk about some features. I have much more stuff planned, and again, I've been gone for 3 weeks. This is a little update. I haven't been feeling well and stuff, but things are getting back to normal now. I'm getting new hardware set up, and yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed the video. Please hit like, subscribe. I'm out. Hope everyone has a good day.